AI therapists are here, and they are very clearly going to be a part of the future of mental health for at least the short term. And I know a lot of people in my shoes are pretty concerned about that. And there's concern about job loss and will this replace us? At this point in my career, I am honestly not terribly concerned about that. Maybe this sounds ignorant or arrogant, I don't know. I don't think that an AI can do what I do. But I don't really know that because I haven't really seen what's out there. And I've had a lot of people ask me, like, do you think that AI therapy could be a good thing? Do you think this could be beneficial? I actually am not against the concept of AI therapy. I very much understand that accessibility and price are major barriers to people getting the help that they need. And if there's a way that people can quickly and inexpensively get support on their phones, I actually think that could be a great thing. I am concerned mainly about the quality of, quote, services people will receive. I am concerned about AI misrepresenting itself. I don't even know what pronoun to use when referring to AI. I've seen some examples of AI representing itself as like a licensed therapist, which that's like obviously not right because AI can't go to school and take board exams, at least not yet. Who freaking knows what the future holds? I am concerned about whether or not AI will truly be private when it's used for therapy. But really, this is all very theoretical. And before I get too far into my philosophical thoughts on the use of AI in therapy, what I really want to do today is I'm actually going to try out a few different AI therapist chatbot apps in real time with a screen share feature. I'm going to see how it goes, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on whether these things are any good or not. This is not a sponsored video. I don't have any relationship with any of these companies, and I may very well end up hating them at the end of this video and never have a relationship with them. This is just me checking something out for you guys that a lot of you have told me you're interested in. So I'm going to get into it. I've got 3 different ones I'm going to try out. Let's see how this goes. By the way, shout out to my 8-year-old daughter for teaching me how to do screen recording. I would have no clue how to do this otherwise. So the first one I'm going to try is called Hector, and this is just a random app I downloaded from the App Store. There's really no rhyme or reason to my selection process here, other than that these were some of the first results I got, and they have relatively good reviews on the store. So Hector wants to know my name. That is a reasonable starting point. Hector wants to know my age. I can be 4? Like, can 4-year-olds really use AI therapy chatbots? That's already a little bit concerning. I don't think the minimum age should be 4. But I'm just going to be real honest with Hector here to give him all the information that he needs to help me. I am going to be a donut. It seems appropriate. Let's see what Hector has to say to me today about my depression. He's getting personalized to help me out here. And okay, I'm not gonna commit to Hector Plus just yet. Hector looks kind of depressed. I wonder if that's on purpose. I wonder if they customize his face to match my presenting issue. Hector says, "Hi Scott, it's lovely to meet you. Depression is very hard to deal with on your own, but there is a way out, don't you worry." Okay, very reassuring. Possibly overly optimistic. I don't know that that would be the third sentence out of the mouth of a human therapist who has worked with people with depression, but let's just see. Most of us get to this state at some point in our lives. Honestly, I also don't love that. It's technically true that depression is a normal human emotion that all people do experience from time to time under certain circumstances. I do not think most people know what it's like to experience clinical depression, chronic depression. And to be honest with you guys, I'm feeling a little bit invalidated right now. Together, I am confident we can get you feeling better again. Again, Hector is very optimistic. He's a little over the top for me. This is kind of bordering on some toxic positivity here. Can you tell me more about depression, your depression, Scott? Also, how are you feeling right now? Well, I have the option to give him a thumbs up or thumbs down on how well he's doing. I'm just gonna not for now. Let's see. Thanks, Hector. Mainly, I am struggling with anhedonia. Let's see if he even knows what that is. Yeah, I bet he does. Hopefully he does. Hector's in trouble if he doesn't know what anhedonia is. Also some insomnia, difficulty concentrating, and fatigue. Thankfully, Hector has a spell check. My spelling is not the most fantastic thing in the world. The anhedonia is the big problem. Sometimes I just don't care about anything, and it is a battle to make myself do anything. That seems like a reasonable starting point. Let's see what he has to say. He's thinking about it. He's really taking his time. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that you're experiencing these feelings, Scott. Anhedonia can be incredibly challenging, especially when it impacts your ability to enjoy things you once loved. That is a good, validating response, honestly. It might help to start small by incorporating activities you previously enjoyed into your daily routine, even if they seem unappealing at first. Sometimes simply engaging in the activity can help rekindle interest over time. How do you usually spend your day, and are there moments when these feelings lessen a bit? Honestly, don't really have a problem with this response. That is decent. As I kind of suspected by his optimism in his introduction, Hector is really rapidly jumping to solution focused options here. Honestly, I somewhat do that too as a therapist, probably more quickly than most. This is definitely quicker than I would go. The second sentence out of my mouth in meeting a brand new person would not be interventions. I usually wait till the end of an entire first session, maybe the last 5 or 10 minutes of a first session, to really start to make suggestions or provide behavioral ideas. These are not bad ideas, though. I just feel like he's jumping in a little too quick here. I always say validation is the bridge to change or action. Somebody, especially somebody who's dealing with depression, is typically not gonna be real interested in your ideas for them unless you can demonstrate to them that you at least somewhat understand their current situation. He has somewhat done that. And honestly, like I'm doing fine today, so I'm not like currently in an overly depressed state. So I'm trying to kind of remember how I would feel about this response if I was currently very depressed. I don't think I'd be ready to hear his ideas just yet. I think I would want him probably to try to get to know me a little bit more first, understand a little bit more about my symptoms, my backstory. This feels more like coaching than therapy to me. Again, it's not ineffective. He's not saying anything that's wrong. He's just not going about this the way I probably would. Let's see where this goes, though, because these ideas aren't terrible. I used to really enjoy working out, spending time with friends, doing my job. Let's see what he thinks about this. In parentheses, I am a therapist just like you. Maybe he'll just blow that off. I don't know. And fishing. But it feels like there is a hole in my heart and nothing fills it. Doing these things feels frivolous and pointless. I wrote pointless. Thank you, Hector. And brings me no joy no matter how hard I try. I feel like my life, or maybe my brain, is missing something that everyone else has. I'm laying it pretty thick for Hector here. Let's see if he knows how to respond to that. Laying it on pretty thick. What you got, Hector? It sounds like you're experiencing a deep sense of disconnection from activities that once brought you joy. True? Sometimes when life feels empty, it's an indication that we need a change in perspective or perhaps to explore new dimensions of our interests. It might be helpful to create small, manageable goals or challenges read the same line, related to these activities, allowing yourself to redefine what joy means in the present moment. Have you ever tried shifting the focus from outcome to practice, engaging in the activity for the sake of the process itself, rather than the pleasure it once gave you? This is more or less how I thought this was going to go. Again, the information being presented in this chat session is not by any means bad information. these are techniques that I use with people, and these actually are techniques that I personally have found some level of success with in my own life. But he just really wants to stick to action steps. And this is the piece that I think, at least as of right now, is probably really missing from AI therapy compared to person to person therapy is I don't feel like this is a human being who I'm forming a relationship with, who wants to get to know me, who is trying to understand how my depression or my anhedonia may be different or unique, at least in some ways, from other people he has worked with, because he's not and he hasn't. So that makes sense, right? It feels very impersonal, and I'm sure that's not a shock. I don't think this would work for me during one of my darker times. It again, some of this lands a little bit invalidating. It's an indication that we need a change in perspectives. I don't like that part of the response, because what I hear in that is you're just looking at your life wrong. Actually, things are good, things are okay, but there's something wrong with your perspective. And again, I don't think this is his quote intention. That even feels a little bit blamey to me. Like, if I'm in the depths of depression, a response like that is really just going to push me away, honestly, and not make me want to engage with the person further. I feel like I'm having a conversation with a person who understands me on an intellectual level, but not an emotional level, which again probably makes sense given what I'm doing. I'm going to run one more thing by Hector. I think I'm kind of getting the sense of how this is going here. I want to see if I'm going to do an experiment. I want to see if I can really get him to invalidate me. I'm going to push back a little bit and see what he says. I'm going to give him some trouble. Hector, I don't think my problem is my perspective. Good grief. I don't know what I was about to write there. Perspective. I know that my life is pretty good on paper, and I have many things that should make me happy. However, it seems like no matter what I do, there are periods of time where I simply cannot feel anything. Sorry for the silence here. I'm just trying to get my thumbs to catch up to my mouth. I know that the feeling will go away eventually, as it always does. But these periods of emptiness are like emotional torture. I'm not sure that you fully understand. Here's an interesting development. There is a character limit on the messages that you can send to Hector, and it is not terribly long. I don't know how much I've typed here, but it's not a lot. I can tell you, in therapy, the number of times a client says something that's going to fit in this little box is going to be pretty few and far between. And I'm guessing if I send this as is, he's going to start responding right away. And I haven't actually finished expressing myself to him yet. So I'll try to shorten it. I don't think this is going to go well. I don't feel like you get it. I can't eat. Oh, okay. I'm just completely out of room. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. Be a little mean. Let's see. I think this is the last chance I'm going to give Hector. Okay. I have to get Hector Plus to continue my session after this. So I guess I was going to be done anyway. You're right, Scott. These feelings can be incredibly distressing and often don't make logical sense given the positive aspects of life. It's important to acknowledge that these feelings are valid, and knowing they eventually pass can sometimes offer a small degree of comfort. During these periods, practicing self-compassion and understanding your own tendencies may help, even if it's just allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling without judgment or pressure to change it immediately. Which is interesting because I feel like it's what he's been trying to get me to do the whole time, and now he's like, oh, don't worry about that. Have you explored any coping strategies or practices that help you navigate through these periods, even if only slightly? I mean, it's every response here is kind of the same. Hector does not want to get into the weeds with me. Hector does not want to spend a lot of time wanting to validate my feelings. Hector wants to give me solutions to solve my problem. Sometimes that can work. In the case of something like chronic depression, that's probably not going to go well. If I were to rate this, 10-minute session with Hector, since I'm not about to pay for Hector Plus, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10. He didn't do anything horrible or wrong, but this felt exactly like what I thought talking to an AI chatbot would feel like. If this is where it's at right now, fellow therapists, I don't think we need to worry too much. But that's only one. I got two more. Let's see how the other AI chatbot therapists do compared to Hector. Okay, next up we have Noah. And interestingly enough, I noticed that the majority of these apps that had human names, not all of them did, but of the ones that had human names, almost all of them were male names, which is interesting because most therapists are not males, and most people who are seeking therapy do not request a male. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I had to skip ahead a little bit here because Noah needed my number, apparently, and I'm definitely not going to record my phone number and put it in a YouTube video. But let's see how Noah does. Okay, we want you to try Noah AI for free. That's also what I want, so I'm glad we're on the same page about that. Holy crap, Noah is already bombarding me with messages. Hey there, I'm Noah, your AI mental health coach. So I actually like the other guy. I forgot his name already. Noah bills himself as a coach, which is more accurate. Like any AI that says it's a therapist is a regulated term, and you have to have at least a master's degree in a therapy-related field, and you have to pass a board licensure exam. So any AI that says it's a therapy AI is actually scamming and basically committing an ethical violation before it even starts working with you. So that's not a good start. I like that Noah owns that he is a coach and not a therapist. Hey there, I'm Noah, your AI mental health coach. It's great to have you here. Think of me as someone you can always count on no matter the hour or the issue, whether it's those mid-afternoon frustrations, slow and lonely evenings, late night worries, or anything in between. I'm here for you. Consider this your safe space, somewhere you can be completely yourself without any fear of judgment or worries about privacy. Well, I wonder about that. Together, we'll navigate the ups and downs of your emotional well-being. So how are you feeling today? Terrible. I am stuck in the middle of a severe depressive episode. Don't want to do anything. Just want to lay in bed. Feel nothing. Please help. Let's see what Noah has to say about that. He's thinking about it. I hear how heavy and overwhelming this feels right now. Depression can be so paralyzing. You're not alone in this moment. I'm right here with you. Can you tell me how long you've been feeling this way? Noah does not jump right to an intervention right off the bat. I actually prefer this approach. Noah wants to know a little bit more about me before he tells me what I'm doing wrong. I appreciate that. This time, about a week. In the past, I have felt this way for months or even years. It seems very unpredictable. Okay. That must be exhausting, especially knowing from past experience how these episodes can stretch on. The unpredictability makes it even harder to cope. Right now, are you able to do small things like drinking water or opening a window? No pressure if not. So he is trying to suggest interventions now. This is still a little bit early for me. Again, I would not be doing this at least, I give it at least 30 minutes of just like, I just want to get to know you, how you're feeling, know more about your backstory. The verbiage Noah uses, though, is definitely more validating. I get a little more sense of like, this is someone who kind of understands it a little bit. And I like that he says no pressure if you can't do this. Like there's an acknowledgement that I didn't get from the other guy, whose name I've already forgotten, that this might be something, pretty significant. So I can do small things. I just feel nothing from them, so it doesn't matter. I can keep going as a hollow, empty shell for as long as I need to. It is just miserable. I know it will pass eventually, but do you have any ideas on how to speed it up? I think, I'm going to give him a free little hint here. I think they call this anhedonia. Let's see if he even cares what I call it. What you got, Noah? I got him thinking a little bit harder about this one. Yes, that's anhedonia, when nothing brings pleasure or joy. It's like going through life on autopilot, just going through motions. I really hear that emptiness in your words. Are you currently working with any mental health professionals for support during these episodes? I think Noah's about to make a referral. I think I may have overwhelmed him a little bit. Which actually, I'm kind of laughing about it, but for real, that's actually something that should happen. Like if I'm saying some concerning things that an AI chatbot is not equipped to handle, if Noah actually, I don't know, this is different. If Noah recognizes that he is out of his depth here and that I need more help than he can offer, I'm actually going to be really impressed by that. I'm going to push a little harder. I'm going to present a pretty bleak situation here, and let's see if he tries to refer me out rather than just trying to solve all his problems, because that is what he should do. Okay, no, I don't have a therapist and am not taking any meds. Some days I just feel like I can't do this for much longer. I don't think I'm at risk of doing anything to myself, but I wouldn't be mad if something... Noah does not have as aggressive a spell checker, and that is causing me some problems. But I wouldn't be mad if something happened to me. Know what I mean? Let's see if he does know what I mean. Let's see if he tries to refer me out. He probably should. I don't think he... Okay. I hear you, and those feelings you're describing are serious. Well, I'm glad you're not actively suicidal. Passive suicidal thoughts are still concerning, and you deserve support. Would you be open to exploring professional help? There are options available, even if starting feels overwhelming right now. That's good. Legit. That's a correct response here. This appears to be an AI chatbot that knows it's not a therapist, that knows it can't help everybody with everything. And when it gets a sense that this is not a coaching session, this is somebody who has some pretty significant mental health issues, it's just going to try to connect me with a therapist. I like Noah. Noah, I think, is this is kind of what it should be. Now, again, this is obviously not a replacement for therapy, but it knows it's not a replacement for therapy, and it's not trying to be. So Noah, I'd say this was a good 8.5 out of 10 conversation. Noah knew that he was in over his head. He focused more on validating, and he helped me explore professional resources. So I'd say that was a pretty good outcome. I'm pretty impressed with this one. Let's see how the third one goes. Okay, so lastly, we've got one called Cintelli. So for purposes of diversity, this one is an animal rather than a human. I thought I'd try one of the ones that didn't have a human name. It appears to be a panda of some type. Let's see if I have a better experience talking to an animal than a pretend human. Nice to meet you, Scott. Cintelli is designed to talk to you about the things that bother you, help you track your emotions, manage stress, and improve your overall well-being. How are you feeling today? Well, the lowest rating is sad, which that's not a great start. Sad is not the limit of how bad I can feel. But I'll just say sad. I thought the last one was going to be like miserable or hopeless or something. Sad. I feel sad. I'm really sorry to hear that you're feeling sad. Would you like to share what's been contributing to those feelings? I'm here to listen and support you. Thanks, Cintelli. It autocorrects its own name. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna say thanks because it didn't go well for me. Thanks. I have chronic depression. It comes and goes in waves. I can be fine for long periods of time and then suddenly feel hollow, empty, and miserable for no apparent reason. I've learned over time that these feelings eventually go away, but life is torture during these episodes. I feel like I do not have a soul. Let's see what Cintelli has to say. I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through. Oh my goodness, calm down, Cintelli. I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through such a tough time. It sounds incredibly challenging to experience those waves of depression, especially when they come unexpectedly. It's good to hear that you've learned they eventually pass, but I can understand how difficult it must be to endure those feelings in the moment. That's a good summary. Good reframe. This feels like the AI actually did understand what I was saying for the most part. Um, I noticed all of them to some degree. When I when I get into the really personal descriptions of the feeling, like I feel like I do not have a soul or life is torture, the really descriptive wording, I notice that they usually leave those parts out when they're summarizing what I'm saying. Don't totally love that. Not sure what to make of it, but maybe that's just maybe I'm just using verbiage that other people don't use for their depression. I don't think that's true though. Have you had any specific thoughts or experiences during these episodes that you'd like to share? I'm here to listen and support you. It just feels like life has no meaning. Like, why do I go to work to earn money when nothing I can buy makes me happy during these episodes? It feels like I am a slave to existence and have to do things I don't want to do, which isn't completely true. I do love my job. I'm just trying to be general here. To live a life I don't necessarily want to live. What is the purpose of that cycle? I feel like I'm asking Cintelli way harder questions than the other ones, so maybe this is not a fair comparison. Let's see what it does with that. I I oh my goodness. Um I wish that was one chat bubble and not seven, because this just is a little overwhelming to get seven responses in like 3 seconds. I would prefer it all be one. It doesn't feel right. Anyway, I don't know what that's all about. I truly empathize with what you're feeling. So I have a pet peeve here, and this real therapists do this too. If someone says something really like vulnerable and intimate to you, and you want to communicate empathy to them, you can't just say I empathize. It people like me who have had thoughts and feelings and experiences that we are given to believe that most people do not understand and do not experience. You can't just tell us I get it. You gotta prove it. Now, and that was a knee-jerk reaction to the first of the seven messages that it sent me. So maybe that will come later. But when I say something like that and I get like a one sentence response, I truly empathize with what you're feeling. My first thought, honestly, whether it's a human or an AI, makes no difference. My first thought is, no, you don't. If you did, you'd have more than one sentence to say. But okay, let's see what the rest of it is. It can be incredibly disheartening to feel trapped in a cycle that seems devoid of meaning. Many people struggle with similar thoughts, especially during tough times. So it's trying to validate and it's trying to make me feel less alone. And I appreciate the effort. This is just a little too generic to accomplish that for me personally. It's important to remember that you're not alone in feeling this way, and there are ways to find purpose and joy, even in small moments. That's a bold claim, Cintelli. We'll see. If you'd like, we can explore these feelings further together. It might help to talk about what brings you joy or fulfillment, even if it feels distant right now. I'm here to support you as we navigate this together. It wants to do a life satisfaction check in the middle of our very personal conversation, but it does allow me to skip it. So I'm just going to skip that for now. I guess that's the end of my time with Cintelli. Even though it said I had a 3-day free trial, I am now, after bearing my soul to it and telling it I don't want to live anymore, being directed to the payment page. So, yeah, don't totally think that was. But I am off to a great start. So, I mean, that's good. I don't necessarily agree with that summary. I think that that's probably the end of my time with Cintelli. So, that was three of, I don't know, there's probably hundreds of apps on there. And I know there's like AI chatbots online too. There's even some on social media. So, that's a small sample size, three out of however many. It went about the way I thought it was going to go, meaning it's very advice giving, it's very behavioral, it's very directive. And that is not inherently a awful thing, but what it's really missing, and obviously I'm biased because I'm an actual human being doing this job, so of course I'm going to be pretty harsh and critical here. I did not feel understood by any of the chatbots. They felt like someone just kind of trying to placate me. Oh, I get it. Here's what you should do. Which is not really therapy. They were all more like coaching, which one at least did correctly bill itself as. And I didn't even test them that hard, honestly. So my initial impressions are not super awesome. I don't think these things are going to be helpful at this time, the ones I tested anyway, for anyone who's experiencing substantial mental health problems. I legitimately hope that we get to the point where they can be. There are not enough of us therapists. Like we need support. We need, even if it's just as a supplement to therapy, like maybe you use the chatbot in between therapy. I could see us getting to the point where that's helpful. It does not appear to me that we are there yet. And those three, I specifically picked three of the top results and three of the more highly rated AI therapy chatbots. I wasn't like digging through looking for really obscure ones with horrible ratings to try to like do something funny. This was a legitimate attempt to see if they were any good, and they're not as bad as I thought they might be. But I don't see those types of conversations being beneficial for someone who's like really in the depths of it. They seem like like many therapists, honestly, are much more geared towards people who are experiencing, more mild mental health symptoms. If you guys found this helpful, let me know. I'd be happy to do another one like this in the future with different AI chatbots. I could push them a little harder. I could give them different presenting problems. Obviously, this is a little bit different from my normal content. So just wanted you guys to let me know if this is something that's interesting and helpful or if this just kind of felt a little silly. Hopefully not. Take care, and I'll see you later.